Welcome to Beer Finds, the podcast where four awesome guys talk about four awesome albums. Today we have
Ian,
Cody,
Kyle,
and I'm Chris Morse. I think we have a great lineup today of some very classic albums. I think we're starting off with Ian.
Yeah.
You got the earliest.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we looking at, dude?
Looking at Rumours, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
good album.
Great
Perfect
album. It's like you don't even have to go down the track list because everybody already knows everything that's on that album.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know why I wrote down some of the popular songs where it's like because
Oh, yeah, because
don't
they're
have
all
to
super
think.
popular.
yeah, because they're all super good.
They're all perfect. And it's like Secondhand News is my absolute favorite. I've had that song stuck in my damn head all week. And I couldn't have been happier. Really.
Yeah, so I'm doing Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. You know, released in 1977, February 4th. It was recorded in 76. It was supposed to be recorded in 75, but there was some turmoil within the group. Just
Like what?
A lot of history there.
yeah, it's basically the basis for this album, and it's like I'll get into it a little bit more in depth of what was going on. So just inter band turmoil, just some craziness going on. But it was recorded in several studios. Most of them were recorded in California, and I'm gonna list off the studios. But the first one's Criteria Studios in Miami. That was, I want to say, early '76 is when they were recording down there. But the rest are in L.A. or not L.A. but California itself. The Record Plant Studios was where most of them were recorded. Some were recorded at an auditorium in Berkeley, Wally Heider Studios in San Francisco, and Darlin Recording Studios in northern Hollywood. But
And they were all over the place for that album.
Yeah, really. It's like most albums that you look at.
Yeah. What makes you studio hop like that? Is it just one engineer doesn't give you what another will?
It might not even that, because I mean, that kind of leads me into my next thing. Is like it was produced by the group along with Ken Calais and Richard Dashut. Ken Calais was the main engineer on the album, and he came from Wally Heider Studios, but he wanted to be with the group at the time. And I mean, going back to your question about hopping around and stuff like that, it's room space and just what room sounds good and equipment, especially in those days where you couldn't just hop around with Pro Tools and we're recording this in our kitchen.
No, it's like reels and shit.
Yeah, it's like you got a lot of equipment.
Supercomputer setup.
Yeah, you really got a lot of equipment back in the day that you really had to like work with and deal with. And if it doesn't happen that way, I mean, if you have an open-ended budget, especially like how they had for Rumours, I mean, it being their 11th studio album.
Yeah, they had some good money behind.
Yeah,
They had some choices too.
Yeah,
That's probably why they jumped around so much. They had the freedom to just be like, well, this sound isn't really, to the good vibe of this.
Yeah.
Like recording in an auditorium at Berkeley.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just they had a lot of money to jump around.
Yeah.
I'd have to say. And you said it was their 7th studio album?
11th.
11th. Okay.
Yeah. That's insane when you think about it. But I mean, it's also, when you say Fleetwood Mac, you think of, was it Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, and Christine McVie? Those three being the original of that group. So when you think of 11th, it's in the terms of you're hearing Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks coming in to make it more poppy or more popular, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it was just the original three, it's that blues rock undertone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they actually changed a lot.
Yeah, yeah. When Buckingham and Nicks came in, it really added more pop depth to the group. And they actually all met at Sound City Studios in California.
Wow.
Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks were their original group together was just Buckingham Nicks.
That's right.
And that's also the name of that, I want to say like one of the only studio albums that they did together, self-titled Buckingham Nicks in Sound City Studios.
Is that North Hollywood? Or not North Hollywood, is that North California maybe?
I can't remember off the top of my head exactly where it is. It is in California.
I remember.
I want to say North California maybe.
Wow. Right on.
But
It's pretty tight.
yeah, like I said, an album produced by the band, which I'm always a big fan of because you actually get the music as it's meant to be heard.
Exactly.
Nothing's overproduced or anything
Cool.
like that. Yeah. Also produced by Ken Calais and Richard Dashut. Ken Calais is known for working with artists like Billy Idol, Frank Sinatra, Pat Benatar, Alice Cooper, Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock's a great piano player. If you guys haven't heard of him.
Doesn't ring a bell. Where would I have heard him?
He's a jazz piano player, but I mean, he is fairly well known for being a great.
Yeah, I don't know his songs by heart, but I remember jazz band in high school.
Yeah.
We learned all about him.
Jazz rock
all the
and
greats.
prog.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. I never got to do the music class because I couldn't read music. And
Neither
they're
could I.
like,
That was the funny thing.
Dude, that's why I couldn't. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, shit, where do I go now? I went to drama.
Yeah.
And it's like that
Well,
actually forged an awesome path for me.
Right.
But
The cool thing about jazz is you're encouraged to impose throughout the whole thing.
That
so
is the
that's
beauty.
that's
Oh
how
my
I got by
God.
the whole
I
school
love
year.
jazz.
I don't
Like,
read music. Yeah, I just improvise.
Other
Good times.
cool fact about Ken Calais, he's actually the father of Colby Calais.
oh, that chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That chick. Yeah.
She did a song once.
We just got 5 more followers on our podcast, guys.
I bet Jacoby, come on.
But yeah, he's actually the father of her. So I thought that was interesting.
That's really cool.
Oh, so she gets kind of like the leg up because.
Well, I mean, yeah, sort of.
I was like, Daddy's kind of producer, so it's like, well, music.
I mean, not all of us can do it on our own, but I mean, it is also nice to have that leg up kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for her. I'm so happy.
You sound thrilled.
Clap along if you feel like you. Never mind.
Good thing on the radio they can't see our tears. 'Cause we're all broke.
Richard Dashut, he's known for obviously recording Fleetwood Mac and producing with them individually as artists as well. But he did, let's see here, George Harrison. He did Cheech and Chong,
Ooh.
Nice.
and he did Gary Busey.
Wait,
Wait,
did you
what?
say Gary Busey?
Yeah.
What?
For
Yeah.
what? For,
I don't know for what. I did not look into it any further. I just thought that would be a fun thing to.
That has to be on Pure Finds of Inch.
Yeah.
Whatever that music was,
I
spoken
gotta,
word.
I gotta know, or if it's like he plays the clarinet, maybe he's a super talented clarinet player, like closet.
I'm sure by his voice, he probably sings some badass hard rock. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Hey, who knows? You know.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing to look up.
Dude,
Maybe
that'd
he's
be
a
nuts.
spoon player. We don't know.
See Gary Busey.
We don't know.
Like on stage, like yeah,
That'd be awesome.
my woman. Those big old choppers. That'd be cool.
But getting into the album itself, most of the lyrics were written by Christine McVie, Lindsey Buckingham, and Stevie Nicks. The only song on that entire album that they all collaborated on was The Chain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the only one that they all collaborated on. I mean, if you really listen to the lyrics and stuff like that, you can hear a lot of things really. And the one thing that
I love that song, man.
it's a great song.
So bluesy.
Yeah.
And then the break, where the bass player pretty much takes over. It's awesome.
Do-do-dum, do-do-do-do-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the one fact that I like about this album is that the entire album is influenced by all of their breakups and heartaches and stuff like that. And I mean, I know that's kind of a horrible thing to say about something like that. So it's like, but great music came out of it.
Oh, yeah. The
Exactly.
best music comes from the darkest places. man.
Yeah. So I mean, like, to give you a
Damn,
hint
I
of
like
what
that.
was going on during this album is like Christine McVie and John McVie divorced.
Oh.
Got divorced as this was happening. They had been married for 6 years.
Shit.
Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had been together forever.
Right.
And they're
Would you
going.
say just as long, maybe,
Yeah.
if not longer.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so it's like they're going through breakups and break-ons and whatever you want to call it.
Right, all while keeping this band together.
Yeah.
trying to-
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. It's like they finished the album without ripping each other's fucking
And then
heads off.
get this. It's like no one's left out of this at all. It's like all of them had something going on. Mick Fleetwood at the time was going through some domestic issues with his ex-wife too.
Lord, that's horrible.
His baby mama of his 2 kids, like all of them had something going on. All of them, you basically took all of that pain into their music, And it basically got to the point where the only time that they'd ever speak to each other was when they were working professionally on the music.
Man, that's got to be tough.
And you got songs that are basically about one another and stuff like that, and recording together. Yeah, I mean, some of them were low blows, some of them weren't, but I mean, it's just you think about the album being so great, but you think about all the chaos and crap that was going on at the time for them. Yeah. It's like, excuse me. Everybody's, fighting with each other. I mean, some of the other things I read, there were like false press intrusions and stuff like that. Basically the press doing what the press does and releasing crap that isn't true and just going off of pictures and assumptions.
Not minding their own damn business for real.
Yeah, I mean, they do what the press does and stuff like that. And I mean, since it was an open-ended budget, I mean, there was some extreme drug use and everything like that. It's the area that they were recording in. It's like the hippie movement was still going on, even though this is 1976. Yeah. It's like
still in the air.
Yeah, it's still in the air and stuff like that. And so I mean, this is how Stevie Nicks basically got addicted to cocaine and all that stuff, and just crazy shit happening.
Wow,
absolutely crazy. But when you really dive down into the music and you listen to it, it's phenomenal.
They managed to finish an album while going through relationship stuff. That's like trying to complete a project with like your ex-wife, and all you have to do is like cooperate. It's
different times.
I can't even imagine that.
It's like anyone listening who's never been in a band or whatever, like that is almost impossible to keep all that together while being in a band.
It's like sometimes crazy. It's like everything is good, you have those great times, but it's like and like slowly people will like start to cross each other a little bit, and then just things escalate.
It makes me wonder if the fame and the popularity of the group really kind of forced them to stay and work together.
Yeah, obviously 11 albums. I mean, you're not gonna want to get off that ride. You know what I mean? And taking the one for the half of the other is kind of impossible. So you might as well like cut your losses. At least I don't know the story at all, but it's like it seems logical. Like you have to stay in the group. You have to keep going, and there is no getting half and half. It's like we just don't fuck anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind of deal.
It was. They were coming off the high of the previous album, the 10th studio album, which I believe was self-titled. Hit #1 on the charts and stuff like that. And they wanted to continue that success and popularity. So, like I said, they were originally supposed to be started in 1975, but it was like a little after that 10th album released and got popular and stuff like that. They wanted to keep going and doing all that stuff. So I mean, it's the fame and the popularity. It's like, did it keep them together to finish this, to make it good and stuff like that? But I mean, obviously it turned out fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the greatest albums ever came out of it. So that's pretty intense. And I didn't even know much about this album until Ian mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And accidentally, I went to the store and I ended up buying 2 albums, one for Ian, one for myself, and I bought him Rumours, not knowing that he already owns it. So now I have a copy, and I can't stop listening to it. Like every week, I listen to it.
Yeah, it's a good thing to own. But I mean, I'm not gonna list the tracks because everybody should know them. I was gonna say you know them already, but no.
A list of the good stuff.
Yeah, like I'm like the release singles, "Go Your Own Way," "Dreams," "Don't Stop," and "You Make Love and Fun." Those were the 4 singles off the albums. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously the other popular songs, "The Chain," "Never Going Back Again," "Gold Dust Woman." And it's like I've mostly named all the tracks there, but I mean, everybody gets the gist. And I mean, continuing on with their fame, in the charts, it hit #1 in Australia, UK, US. Your 3 major ones that people really care about. It hit #1 in a few other places. Sorry to the rest of the world. I didn't think you were important enough to really list off all of them. I know. Certified multi-platinum in Australia and UK. I mean, when I say multi-platinum, I say like, I believe the numbers were like 11 times multi-platinum.
Yeah.
Nine
ironic.
Times. I instead of listing off, it's like, that's 11 times and 9 times multi-platinum. And then it hits 2 times diamond in the United States, which is over 20 million units.
They shower with money now. That's how much they made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can go
like
on.
Scrooge McDuck, like diving into the thing of coins.
I mean, we can all go into, their after Fleetwood Mac solo stuff and what they've done, and it's Fleetwood Mac was where it was at for them.
Right.
I mean, you look at not hating on Lindsey Buckingham. Holiday Road is just a big jump.
Christmas Vacation was that, or it was one of the National Lampoon Vacation.
I think I remember.
Yeah. I haven't watched much of those.
Oh man,
but Stevie Nicks had a decent run.
Yeah, she had a solid solo run, and
she collaborated with some cool people too.
Yeah. But I mean, this is my Pure Find. I mean, I just bought it a couple months ago, I guess you could say that. But I mean, these are all songs that I grew up with listening to and stuff like that.
All of us around this table, man.
Yeah, and I mean, that's
if you have a classic rock station near you. You've heard
at least you can't escape this album.
But that's the other cool thing is that we're all under the age of 30, and we're all listening to music that's just as old as we are, if not older.
Older in most cases.
Most cases, yes, older. It's like I'm the one closer to 30 than everybody here. But I mean,
old man.
Yeah, I feel old today. I really do. But yeah, that's my Pure Find. I highly, highly recommend anybody listening to go listen to it. If anybody is listening,
I second that emotion.
Yes, please listen. But who time travel?
Time travel. We're going to November of 1978.
Yeah.
And the album is entitled The Steve Miller Band Greatest Hits 1974 to 1978. Steve Miller just got inducted, or at least him and his band just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I thought it was appropriate after the Hall of Fame to talk about him. There's a lot of stories behind it. I don't know who, I don't know all the producers. I really didn't care too much about discussing, the pedigree stuff. Okay. I kind of wanted to talk more so about what this album, the history of this album and my life and what it means to me and what Steve Miller means to me. Because
right on.
As great of a band as they were, I saw him live not too long ago with a buddy of mine, actually sitting right here, and we saw it for free. And he played most of the greatest hits on the album, even the Steak, which was badass. I was like, fuck yeah, I was running back and forth. Saw a couple cops busting some people for smoking grass and shit, and it was pretty rough, Virginia. Anyways, so we get towards the end, and I watched him play all these great songs. I mean, from that album that I remembered, and he didn't play True Fine Love, and I just want to get this out of the way now because I got plenty of other stories to go, but like this one in particular, I'm chanting it, and I end up getting a fourth of the crowd chanting this fucking song. Everybody's even Cody right next to me. We're and he's like, we're taking requests, and everyone's like, yeah, the whole crowd.
It's about time.
He plays a fucking Joker, and then that's it. It's like,
I'm a Joker.
That's the encore.
He didn't open with that.
I mean, he acknowledged our cry. He acknowledged it. But,
Lord.
Anyways,
but he was still just like, fuck it.
And he plays the Joker, and he's like, got you, bitch.
Yeah. And it didn't even sound the same.
A couple
I don't think he's
songs,
ever played that song the same since he recorded it.
Really?
It's like I don't know. He does it all like. It sounds like reggae and Jimmy Buffett mixed together.
I saw him many years ago at Wolf Trap.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when I was weaning, I didn't even know who Steve Miller was until I got there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and then I heard, like, fly like an eagle. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's him. Like, oh, that's cool. I'm a Joker. I'm like, oh, shit, that's him, too. And I see, like, all these old guys just like, whoa, like, boogie-woogieing in their chairs. Like, oh, damn, bro. Whoa. Like, the acid just hit or something. And it's like, shit, if you're having a great time, I'm happy. But, yeah, it was a good show. And I was there with my brother and my cousin. And we eventually left. And this is what, I guess, he can't hold an audience because I left. But we go out to the parking lot, and I heard they fucking came back out. And it was like, oh, no. Like, they came back out, and I'm already outside the fence and everything. Yeah, it's like right after the show, kind of. But then I hear, like, Crossroads start playing. Bam, 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 bam,
oh, no shit.
I was like, oh, you fucker. Like, Why didn't you just like stay on the fucking stage and be like, all right, this is the encore?
They like to do that. They like to fuck with people. They want you to run back from your car.
Yeah, right. I was like, I'm not paying for another fucking
Dude,
ticket to go in.
not Paul McCartney. Oh my god, that man did like 3 encores.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Okay, okay, bye, everybody. All right, guys, I'm gonna complete one.
Not to get off topic. That man was phenomenal live. He played for like 4 hours. It was great.
Right on.
What about the album? It's like,
the album's good, of course. It has all the tracks we all know and love. From The Stake to True Fine Love to The Joker, if you will, Jet Airliner and Threshold, the introduction, which brings me to my next story. I was in high school when I was really getting into them, and I bought this CD in Walmart, and I ended up tripping out for the first time ever, or no, it was the second time, and I did an 8th at school at lunch in the bathroom, and I was supposed to go play a show. It was a high school. What is it, Cody? Fucking.
It was a talent show.
Talent show. Yeah.
oh my god.
I had tickets to go to there, and I was like, the first time I ate mushrooms was like the clouds were so awesome. I was about to get a front seat show in the sky, tripping out because mushroom trips. If nobody on this podcast knows, or if anyone else has done them, but people that haven't done them, you're tripping. You start tripping, and then it's like 8 hours to 10 hours depending.
This isn't your typical hour-long
I ended up tripping out hardcore and got kicked out of my math class. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but was downstairs in the office, and I'm sitting there, and I'm listening to Threshold, tripping balls. There's this fat, goofy kid that's in trouble too, right across from me, and he has this rat-looking face and a mohawk, and I'm like geeking, looking at this guy, and I got the bitch over on the left of me. She's like the what do you call it? What's it called, guys?
Like an officer or a hall
no,
monitor?
It's the
Guidance
lady
counselor.
It's the fucking lady that takes phone calls and
Secretary.
There we go, secretary.
Receptionist.
I say receptionist.
Yeah, really at high school.
I always say.
But
It's
she's
Southern thing.
Who's
over
that
here
slave
telling me to
for doing that?
take my headphones out, but I was tripping out hard, and I was listening to that the whole way, and ended up missing my flight. But yeah, Steve Miller's always been there, and kind of has brought a lot of people, at least around my circle, a lot of people that don't necessarily like my style of music, which is rock and roll, our style of music, anyways.
Yeah.
But this particular band brings them together, and if I don't necessarily say it's Steve Miller, I put on that song "Fly Like an Eagle." They think Seal automatically, and it's like right on, that's cool.
Seal?
He did a cover of it with Steve Miller. Actually, the band helped him out with that song. There's a fun fact for you guys.
Hey.
Pulled that one out of my ass. I didn't do any research at all.
I want to fly like
Yeah,
Wait, was that the one
Space
that was in
Jam.
Space Jam?
Yeah, Space Jam.
Oh.
Yep. And I mean, a lot of his music has been in movies, which is awesome. Steve Miller is great, but at the same time, I want to say he's kind of an asshole. So that's my pure find. Listen to it. I'm sure everybody's heard it. So next,
Right on.
time travel.
Time travel.
Okay, guys. This is a pretty awesome album. I chose AC/DC Back in Black. This is their first studio album after the passing of their first lead singer, Bon Scott, who was absolutely magnificent.
One of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best frontman ever.
But he will be missed. But he died in February, and they worked on this album from April to May of 1980.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
2
like
months
a couple months. Like they had to do their morning really fast, and they were just like, okay, we gotta get rolling. They found Brian Johnson, their new singer. If you ever seen this guy on stage, he's awesome. Just a little golf cap, and he's like, ew. It's great. I love it. Couple of cool things about the album. So it comes out in July. They worked on it for 2 months. It was mixed at Electric Lady Studio.
Yes.
In New York.
Jimi Hendrix, New York.
Yep. So it was mixed there. It was recorded in the Bahamas for 7 weeks.
It's crazy thinking about that album. They're partying in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ew, they decided to have the all black cover for Morning Bon Scott, the Atlantic Records, they didn't like the idea initially.
Of course they didn't.
Yeah, of course. Because
They
was
never
like,
liked anything good.
Yeah. But eventually they were like, okay, we'll let you do that if you put a gray outline on the logo. So they're like, okay, as long as they can get it. I thought that was kind of a funny thing. Like, they actually won. Like, that's the kind of band AC/DC is. If you listen to them, it's all about winning and, like, if to put in Charlie Sheen's words.
They did that countless times, like with Highway to Hell. That album was the same. They didn't want them to have that title.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just
and
like...
They said, no, we're having it.
Hell yeah.
This is going to happen.
For Hell's Bells, when this album comes in, that's my favorite part about it, is just the beginning. You have that bell that just, it's kind of like a church bell. AC/DC actually had that bell custom made to the right key that Angus was playing at.
And Brian Johnson was hitting it, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
So
they
awesome.
tried, before that, they had the idea of church bells, and they were like, oh, let's go over to the church across the street and record their bells. So they went ahead and did that. But every time that bell chimed, like 100 birds would flutter out of the fucking church. So that was like completely, so it's like, bong.
Not the same effect.
Exactly. It's like, no, it pretty much ruined all the recordings. They were like, okay, fuck it. We're going to have to buy this 2-ton bell for the beginning of this album. Bong.
Which came in handy because they took it on tour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that very bell is actually hung up in the doorway of Malcolm Young's mansion.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's hung up. I think that is pretty badass.
That is badass.
Let's see, the musical or the recording engineer. That's Ian's department. He's very awesome at that. He actually has a degree. Let me see
he's
here.
Doing our sound for the podcast.
Yeah, Tony Platt. Tony Platt was the sound engineer for it, and he's done Bob Marley, Cheap Trick, Iron Maiden, Buddy Guy, and Motorhead.
Wow, that's
who,
pretty
who
cool.
hasn't he done?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's a very super diverse.
Yeah, it's very
like,
cool.
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, this guy he's in for the music. He's not just like, yeah, dog, rock and roll, and drinking a beer while playing with switches in the recording studio. He knows what he's talking
It's not
about.
all about playing with switches, even though that is fun. As I'm adjusting things.
Oh yeah, and since they were recording in the Bahamas, there was actually during that there was a lot of storms. This is actually I'm just got going with little fun facts I found. It's like they were recording in the Bahamas during a bunch of storms, and Brian Johnson actually used that for a lot of his lyrics. Like, I'm rolling thunder, pouring rain, I'm coming on like a hurricane.
Yeah, I saw this thing where he kind of got like spiritual with it because he said he was having like really bad writer's block when they went to write all this music, because they were trying to get it done so fast.
Yeah.
But he said something along the lines of where Bon Scott inspired him, and like that's like the night he came up with that first line he just said.
That's sick. Like, just thinking about it, because going from, you got Bon Scott, who is a great writer and everything, and then the band is like, well, they're about to record an album, Bon Scott dies, so all of that stuff is like whoosh, out the window.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, Brian Johnson, you're part of AC/DC now, brother. And he comes in and he wrote all the lyrics to the new album.
That's awesome.
But if you listen to Highway to Hell, the album right before it, and then Back in Black, it's like the lyrical content's kind of the same. It's just badass.
Yeah, dude. That's one of the best
Devil
bands
and alcohol. And
Party. Ooh, woman.
One of the best reinventions of a band is AC/DC. It's a perfect example.
Yeah. And that was one of my pure finds. I actually found my first copy of it I ever found was driving through Charlottesville. We stopped at this tiny place that had a ton of records. I found it for like $5. I was super excited because I was like, oh yeah, what idiots. It's like, this is gold. I take it home, all scratched up, and I was like, son bitch.
Oh man, I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, I was like, I could have bought 2 Coca-Colas for that.
Driving through Charlottesville.
Yeah, but now I have a good copy of it from my owner, or my old manager who moved away. He gave me that big old collection and actually had that in there, and that felt pure.
It's gonna come up in every podcast.
It's gonna come up in a lot. It's a huge collection, and it was like, wow, this is great.
It'll be like the one that you choose as a pure find, and then it'd be like, and then there's a ton of Rush and a ton of
I have a feeling like for Rush, I want to get our friend Christian in here for Rush because he's a huge Rush guy. He knows so much. God. Yeah, I was like, dude, that'd be crazy to have him in. Oh yeah, and that's one more thing, real quick before we move on to our last and final album of the night.
Yes.
What was I about to say? What was I on?
Christian.
Christian. Yes. Okay, thank you. Like, back on track. So I did get a lot of requests for guests on the show. People want to be guests. People want to show up. We're thinking about taking some time with that. We don't want to do it immediately, but it's definitely something for the future. Just definitely keep listening to the podcast. We'll make sure to mention that when we're going to go ahead and start doing those kind of fun things. I just wanted to mention that real quick.
It'll happen. It's just we're taking our time right now.
Yeah.
It's only
I
the
just got a
second
couple.
episode.
Yeah, I got a couple of requests, and I was like, okay, guys, like, I just want to skeeve off until we mention it for now.
Every
Just for
song
now.
on Back in Black is awesome. Just to let you know, it's in one of those albums
Yeah.
that like you can listen to the whole way through.
Yeah.
I don't really have that. Even with the album I just chose, like that album and your last album that you did. Those are albums that you can listen to the whole A side, flip it over, and listen to the whole B side,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then flip it back over and start over. So
yeah.
I just wanted to say that before
You got like,
we went.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool little fun fact about that too. Kurt Cobain, when he got his first guitar at 14, he actually Back in Black was the first song he learned how to play on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I read that today, and I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. That's a little fun thing. Holy
Nice.
shit! So
Time travel.
yeah, time travel too.
Yeah, my album, the last album we're doing tonight, is Texas Flood by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. One of the best blues bands to
Yeah,
grace the music scene. But yeah, this was actually their debut album. It came out June 13th, 1983. This whole album was recorded at Epic Records. Yeah, well, that was the label it was under. But I'm gonna stop right there and rewind. Epic Records was owned by Jackson Browne. It was his studio. It was pretty
Oh.
much a big warehouse that he had. He turned it into a studio.
that's awesome.
And a few months before, Stevie Ray Vaughan and his band, they were playing at the it was a jazz festival. It was the Montreux Jazz Festival in July. And Jackson Browne saw him playing there, and he was blown away because this is before they got real big. You know, they're just starting to make a name for themselves. And he figured since they hadn't recorded it all, he gave them 3 free days to record at his studio. So they went down there. It was in November, actually. They went down in November and laid it down in 2 nights. Like,
Whoa.
they did it all, no overdubbing or nothing. They
Jeez.
Did they
Yeah.
just play straight through? Or it's
Yeah,
like, That's
man.
what I imagine. It's like, okay, guys, let's do.
You got
Yeah.
3 days. What are you gonna do with it?
Right.
And there they go.
Shit, that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, the bass player Tommy Shannon, he was saying like when they got there, it was just a big empty warehouse with like some dirty rugs on the floor and stuff, and they just sat up in a corner and started laying it down. Richard Mullen, he was the producer on this album, along with the band. The band produced the whole thing. Along
I was about to
with
say, it doesn't even sound like he really had a say in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no overdubs. You know, you just go straight through it.
Yep.
Mm.
But yeah, they laid that down Thanksgiving weekend.
All right.
In 2 days, and they were fine with it, you know, no overdubbing. They just thought it sounded great. And then when they took it to John Hammond, who was he was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
John Hammond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
organs.
He discovered people like Aretha Franklin, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, got him record contracts, you know.
Wow. Okay.
He's a big deal.
Yeah.
A really big deal.
Yeah, so they got in with him. Then he presented it to a man named Greg Geller. He was head of A&R at Epic. And he's the one who wanted them to go back and do the overdubs and stuff
Of course.
of everything. They paid him an extra $65,000. They're like, hey, if you guys go back, you know, re-record some of this. Go
That
over
might
it.
make you change your mind
Yeah.
a little
Yeah. I'd
bit.
be like, well, maybe.
Well, you know.
Okay, I guess 65. Well, can I get a bag of pretzels too?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't spend much time when they went back. They did all the recuts and remasters at in New York. I don't know exactly what studio they did it in there, but yeah. Thought it was pretty cool though that Jackson Browne owned the studio because they played on a lot of his equipment, like
Oh.
Stevie Ray Vaughan played on his, Fender Viroverbs. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Viroverbs. I've never played on one. I imagine it was magical though. An
Like
old
a
Fender amp.
vibro.
Maybe Vibroverbs. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a tongue twister, but
sounds familiar. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Proverbs.
one thing I thought was cool too is throughout the whole album, the only effect Stevie Ray Vaughan put on his guitar was an Ibanez tube screamer. Just one. That was all he had the whole time.
Oh wow.
You know, the songs on this album were like, they pretty much become legendary status now. A lot of the ones like Pride and Joy. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's a big one.
All
that
the ones-
everyone loves.
You go anywhere in Fredericksburg for a night out, you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
hear
yeah.
one of these.
You're gonna hear that song. There's
Oh, yeah.
also another really big song was Lenny that a lot of people love. He wrote it for his wife.
Uh-oh.
Lenny was like this guitar that she bought for him.
Uh-huh.
It was like a really nice Fender Strat, and he named it after her. That was his wife's name at the time,
Oh.
and that
How
was
sweet.
big. And I mean, the title song "Texas Flood."
Yeah,
His rendition of that is fucking amazing. Like it was originally an old blues song from '58 by what was the guy's name? Larry Davis. He was an old blues dude from Kansas City back in the day. Played a lot of bass. He used to play with Albert King. Cool thing about Albert King, I saw this old video from the 80s of Stevie Ray Vaughan playing with Albert King, just like setting with him for like 30, 45 minutes. He was like a big idol to him.
Cool.
I mean, he's a good old blues guy, you know?
Right on.
one of the three kings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But,
Three kings. Who are the other two? I gotta know all the kings. now.
BB, and who's the third one? Albert-
Freddie King.
Yeah,
Freddie
three.
King.
The
Three
Blues Kings. The three kings.
Mhm.
That's badass. I never called it that.
KKK.
Why'd you go there?
Three kings.
But
Some irony.
Triple-
a little
it's like-
something
it's like-
funny.
It's like Triple H or Triple K.
Getting, a little restless here.
But yeah, when they recorded this, they didn't do like a whole lot of crazy stuff. They just mic'd everything with one mic. That was it. One mic on the drums.
Just like sat the mic in the room. Oh.
Yeah,
Each?
yeah. Each they all had one
Okay.
mic on them. They only mic'd one of the speakers in one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's amp because I guess it was powerful, probably.
Well,
But I mean, if you listen to the quality on this album, it's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
it really doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, it almost doesn't even sound like they're playing live. You know, it
Yeah.
sounds amazing. You know, like. But that's what they would have sounded like if you saw them in a Texas club, you know, back
The,
in
the
the day.
talent,
like,
the talent, and the musicianship.
Yeah,
That's back
That's
when
why
my
it took them.
shows.
That's why it took them like 2 fucking days. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, you're over here playing all these live shows, making your money, finally making it to the point where you have the money to record a record,
Yeah.
and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money
Yeah.
on the record. So they,
and
studio
that's the
time.
thing. They didn't even have to spend money on it. You know,
Oh
they
yeah,
still
that's
banged
right.
it
That's
out.
right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, like Jackson Brown gave
Sorry.
them 3 days.
Paying much
No, they
attention.
did it in 2. Went home for Thanksgiving dinner. You know, like, it's awesome. Like. Again, about the songs, he's got one song in here called "Rude Mood," which is like the best warm up for any guitar player. It's like, it's basic blues scale, but it's like about 10 times faster than any Chuck Berry song. Like it's insane. Yeah, it definitely shows off his skills as a guitar player.
Oh,
That song.
I know what you're talking about now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy fast. Like I've seen videos of Stevie Ray Vaughan playing that with a cigarette in his mouth and
Almost.
finish it with zip before it's done.
Yeah, almost every video that I've ever seen him with, he's got a cigarette in his
Yeah,
mouth
he was a badass dude.
until he starts singing.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah,
He's got the paunch. He's got that look down of just
Mhm.
like
yeah, man. Tex-Mex,
gunslinger.
baby.
Yeah, gunslinger with a guitar.
Was he a
Uh-huh.
Texas boy?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
from
that's what I
Texas,
thought.
man. Yeah,
Texan?
he did a lot of playing in Texas. He played with a lot of great people too. He played with David Bowie one time, and
Yeah.
David
What?
Bowie didn't give him any credit for it. David Bowie took all the credit for a song. Oh God, I can't think of.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's
I can't remember the name of the song.
What
It's
is
okay.
it?
Fuck David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie sucks in my book. I don't know about the other 3 men at this table, but I don't like David Bowie. I'll tell you that
I
right
like
now.
a little bit of everything.
I'm fine with
I like
David
I like
Bowie.
I like
I
some
mean, you
songs
know-
by the guy, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
as far as his persona, like I like Stevie Ray Vaughan better. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
I mean, Young Americans, I can dig on that song, but that's about it. It's a little too frilly for my taste. I'll take Stevie Ray Vaughan any
It's
day
about
over him.
fame. What's your
Yeah,
name?
that one's alright. It's funky, but like I said, you know, you gotta give credit where it's due, and he
Yeah,
didn't
if
Under
you didn't
pressure.
give Stevie credit for work, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro, like, what the hell's wrong with you if you
Yeah.
don't give an artist credit? Come
it's
on.
messed up. But I mean, aside from all that, they still made, you know, some good success off this record. It peaked at number 38 on the Billboard 200 immediately. I'm guessing probably overnight into the next day it was up there.
Let's dance.
Huh?
Let's dance.
That's the song? Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's dance.
Let's Dance. That's right. Yeah.
What? Stevie
That's
Ray
all
Vaughan
Stevie
did
Ray
that?
Vaughan on that.
The
Yeah.
solo is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like doing an air solo to it too, kind of rubbing it in
Yeah,
a little
in the
bit.
music video.
Oh, dude, that's cool though. I didn't know you actually did that song.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
fuck.
Stevie
I
Ray
thought it was
Vaughan.
gonna be some weird Bowie song. It's like I don't listen to a lot, so it's gonna be something like
Let's dance.
it's gonna be like River Monster on Mars. Like that's the song. I don't know. It's like that song name or something. It's like okay, whatever. But no, it's actually a song I know.
Yeah.
That's cool. It makes me happy.
Yeah, this album it also went double platinum in the U.S., went platinum in Canada. It was one of their best. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan, he didn't have a very long career in the spotlight. He made it maybe,
Sadly.
yeah, it was like, what, 10, 11 years, you know, until he died. He actually died a month before I was born, exactly.
Whoa.
Yep. When he was playing with Clapton, they're having a show,
Uh-huh.
or a few days show or something like that, and we all know, you know, he got in the helicopter,
Yeah.
crashed. Crazy thing about that was, though, Eric Clapton was supposed to be with him,
Oh,
but
wow.
just
Imagine that.
canceled and said he didn't want to go or something. Yeah,
Man, that's just tough.
right.
Too many good people have died in planes.
Seriously,
Yeah.
and he
We're just-
literally he got like I've seen the video. He's playing on stage. I think he was actually playing Voodoo Child
Oh yeah.
as an
Right
encore
on.
or something like
Nice.
that, and got off the stage, got on the helicopter, man.
That's it.
Died that night. Yeah, and he had flown in the helicopter earlier that day too.
So it's
Yeah.
like everything should have been fine.
Yeah,
It wasn't
sad.
snowing or anything.
I don't believe so. No, I forgot exactly where it was at, but I don't think it was because of weather conditions.
Yeah.
All that. I mean,
Ian's been watching a movie, and that just reminded me.
Yeah.
Like Richie Valens.
I've been on the La Bamba kick
Oh, yeah.
for about a
That's
week and a half.
classic,
and,
man.
Richie! That's another one who died way too soon.
yeah, way too soon.
Yeah, maybe one day he'll make it onto a pure find. If we can find a Richie Valens LP, yeah, something.
Right, an old 45 or something.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good
if
luck
anybody can
finding
find
that.
one, let me know. Let us know out
Dive
there.
deep.
If anybody finds one, let the guys at Pure Finds know. Well, that's awesome! Wow, I can't believe that he was actually on that song. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that I actually knew it. That was cool. So you said how many times did that go platinum? Double or
Yeah, it
11?
went double platinum
Yeah,
in the U.S.
double platinum.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
it's been reissued many times over with like extra stuff they've thrown in, like the whole promotion for the album. They had a tour like literally almost right after the album debuted.
Oh, cool.
You know, so if
Yeah.
you get one of the later remastered, reissued ones, there's like tracks from that, some Stevie Ray Vaughan interviews, which are always cool because most of the time when he was in an interview, he brought his guitar with him and he would just jam there while they were interviewing him. I always thought that was cool about him. Yeah, he was.
Can't be found without a guitar.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, I mean, Hendrix has always been my favorite, and he's the only guy I'll really put up there with him besides maybe like, I don't know, Ollie Hassel or Eddie Hazel, you know. But yeah, that's my pure find, one of the
Where
greatest
did-
guitar players.
It's tough to
Where
pick a
did you
number
find
one.
it?
Yeah.
Where did you
Huh?
find it?
What, the album itself?
Yeah.
I
How'd you get
wanna say I got it at Blue Shark
Oh,
downtown. Yeah.
Blue Shark in downtown
Yeah,
Fredericksburg.
that
Yep.
man supplies.
They
us
have the
with a
best
lot.
ones.
Yeah.
It's a great supply.
Yeah.
They didn't have a couple records I went to see a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Which ones are you looking for?
I will keep it off the record for now.
He wants to save it for a pure find if
They're
he finds
they're hit and miss sometimes, but I mean it's
Yeah.
all about, you know, whose collection is he buying kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's timing too, because I mean, you
Oh,
go
yeah.
in there different months at a time, he's gonna have different stuff.
It's not only just that record shop. I mean, in general, records, but going in and
Yeah.
going into a record store in this area, it's like you're not going to always find exactly what you expect. The
Yeah.
internet kind of killed that So
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten lucky a few times. I mean, I've walked in there where I was looking for a very, very specific record.
Right.
Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street.
Oh yeah,
I think you were
Exile on
with me.
Main Street, yeah.
Yeah, you were with me, right?
that's
yeah.
a great album.
Oh
that would
my
be a
God.
good pure find, dude. There's so much good stuff.
I want to
on
do
that.
it, and actually, I've been wanting to do it soon, but I'm saving it for whenever we decide to,
Okay.
have the full thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another
That'll
thing
be
we're
great.
planning on
That's
doing.
the only
Yeah.
thing that's holding me back from doing that album. Is
I'm thinking like the 25th episode, maybe. I don't know, maybe sooner than that. But for big bands, we're just going to do entire episodes dedicated to those.
Yeah, where we all pick one of that.
Yeah, we all
artist
just pick one
albums.
band, like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to throw any out now, but, big names that everybody loves, and we're just going to do exclusives on
Yeah,
them.
those bands that have too many albums to pick a favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Fleetwood Mac. I brought
I
Tusk
snuck
today.
that one. I snuck that one in.
Yeah, that was a good find, too. I do
Yeah.
like the Steve Miller one, too.
Mm-hmm.
What time are we up to?
We're good.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
Sweet. Okay, I guess I'll wrap it up then. That's all.
Anybody else got anything else to say?
Yeah, any fun stuff?
I laid my juicy details on the table. man.
Blow. Oh, right on. So we learned about Rumours today. We learned a little bit about Kyle's Steve Miller experiences and everything.
Which is legendary.
Yeah. Learned a little bit about some AC/DC, which is one of my very favorite bands, just energy. And we also learned about Stevie Ray Vaughan and that he was in a David Bowie song. At least that's what I got out of it. Shit. Well, this has been Pure Finds. Everybody have a great night. And now listen to our awesome outro music that we have while we end it.
Yeah.
Good night.